first graders. So since we are in the month of September, we are going to be doing an artwork based on the season of autumn, which is also called fall. So our artwork is going to be an autumn owl, and it looks like this. So to create this autumn owl, you will need a few different items. You will need a pencil, something to write on and draw on, such as a piece of paper. And these next items are optional, so that means that you can choose to find your watercolor if you would like to paint the background, and you can also choose to find your brush as well. Another extra, if you would like, you can find your black marker so that you can trace the lines that you've drawn with pencil at the end. Okay, so once you have these items, then we can get started. All right, so you will be using a pencil for this drawing. I'm going to be using a Sharpie just so that you can see the lines as we are drawing this owl. And we will start with the body of the owl. The body of the owl starts out somewhere in the middle of your page towards the left-hand side. We'll start with a curvy line, and it will kind of go out and go a little bit wider at the bottom, and we'll make sort of a U shape. When you're finished with the U shape, we're going to match this line with this line on this side. So we'll curve it back out again. So now it looks like a U shape, but it's curved at the top here, towards the outside. These are going to be the ears of the owl, and this is the body of the owl. We're next going to connect these lines at the top so that we can fill out the owl's ears and the top of the owl's head. So when you are completing these lines here, you're going to want to curve with your pencil and then curve down all the way back up and make that curvy line, just like that. Now we have the top of the owl's head. Next, we're going to work on the owl's eyes. The owl's eyes are going to be two circles near the top of its head. So we'll start out with one eye near the top, making a big circle, because owls have big eyes. And same thing on the other side. Notice that they are kind of overlapping, so one is on top of the other. Inside our circles that we just drew for the eyes, we are going to draw the owl's pupils, which is the dark part of an animal's eyes. So one big circle inside of that bigger circle that you drew, and then same deal on the other eye. Circle inside of that bigger circle. When you go back in color, you can fill in these circles so that it can have some color in there. So you can go ahead and fill in with your pencil now, or you can wait till later when you color in the pupils. This part is going to be optional. If you'd like to add eyelashes to your owl's eyes, you can add a curvy line on the outside of its eye and a second curvy line on the outside of its eye. Same thing on the other eye, curvy line on the outside edge, and then a second curvy line on the outside edge. So now we have two eyes and two sets of eyelashes if you'd like to draw those. Next, we'll continue with the owl's beak. The owl's beak is going to be sort of a V shape, letter V. So we'll start at the edge of this bottom part of its eye, come out, slanted line, and then another slanted line up. And that makes the owl's beak. Owls and most other birds have nostrils on their beak, and their nostrils are two oval shapes that look like this. One oval inside and a second oval on the other side. Next, we'll work on the owl's wings. The wings will be on the left and the right side of the owl. And the wings are going to be big, curvy shapes. And there's going to be 3 of them. So right around the middle of the owl's body, we're going to come out with a curvy line and then kind of draw a little hook shape like that. And we're going to do the same type of line 2 more times. So this is once, we'll do it again, curvy line and a hook. And then 1 more time, curvy line and a hook. This time we'll go all the way back with our line to meet the owl's body at the edge here. So now we have 1 wing, and we'll do the same thing to draw the owl's second wing. So coming about halfway down the owl's body, right in the middle, drawing a curvy line, and then hooking it in. Same thing that we did on that side. And then we'll do this 2 more times. So curvy line again, and then hook it inside. And then 1 more time, curvy line, and then hook it, this time meeting the line all the way back to its body. Notice that the wings are very different on both sides. That's okay. Just like people, owls are not exactly the same on both sides, and that's all right. So now that we have the owl's wings, we'll continue with the owl's feet. The owl is going to be sitting on a branch. So the way that its feet are going to be drawn is almost like it's perched, and its feet are kind of clinging on to the branch. So we're going to come out of the bottom of its body with 3 different shapes. So it's going to be an oval shape that looks like this. That will be its first part of its left foot. And then 2 more. So this one will come out right next to this oval-like shape, and it will be just a little bit smaller. So now we have 2 of those shapes, and we'll need 1 more same type of shape coming out a little bit thinner. So that's 1 foot on this side, and now we'll do a 2nd foot on the other side. This time, instead of slanting this way, it's going to be slanting this way. So taking that same type of shape and drawing it slanting the other way now. Now we have 1, so let's add a 2nd one coming out with that oval shape. And 1 last oval shape. And that will complete its 2 feet. So now we're going to move on to the branch that the owl is sitting on. The branch that the owl is sitting on is going to be a big, strong branch. So it's going to be pretty thick. So just keep that in mind when we're drawing our lines here. So we will start drawing our branch from the bottom of the owl's body here, because these feet are going to be sitting right on that branch. When we take the line and draw it right under the owl's body, we're going to take it all the way to the edge of the paper. So the branch is coming from off of the page and then into our drawing like this. So we'll start right here where the owl's body meets its feet, and we'll draw a curvy line that goes all the way off of the page. So you'll notice it stops right at the edge here, almost as if the branch keeps going, but we just can't see it in this drawing. So that's the beginning part of our branch, and it will continue. It's sitting on top of it, so it will continue on the other side of its body on this side. The branch is curvy and big, so it's going to curve a little bit up. It's going to curve up behind its wing here, and then it'll keep going until it reaches the edge of the branch. and the edge of the branch will look like this. Straight slanted line down. And remember I said the branch is going to be pretty thick, so we'll continue that line towards the owl's body. And the branch also has another part of it that comes out, so straight line, slanting down towards the bottom of the page. And we'll continue that line on this side. So this is the size of the branch is about this much or so. So we'll continue that line from the edge of our paper, and then we'll keep going all the way to the edge just like we drew this line. So continue that line all the way across until your line comes off of the page. So now we have our owl and we have the setting, which is a branch. Our last item before we start coloring is to add some leaves, because this owl is living on a branch during the fall. So we are going to need to add some fall leaves. So fall leaves can have different shapes, but the ones that we're going to be drawing today are small, sort of curvy leaves. And these leaves will be fall colors when you get into the coloring stage of our drawing. So pick anywhere you want to add these leaves. I'm going to probably put a few on the left because I see I have some empty space here, and I'll probably do a few on the right since I have empty space here, and maybe I'll see if I can squeeze in some on the top. So the way that these leaves are going to be shaped is we'll first start out with the stem of the leaf, and then we'll create the outline. So anywhere you want to start to draw your leaves, we're going to draw the stem of the leaf first, and it's just a curvy line that looks like that. And then about a little bit less than halfway up the stem, you're going to start drawing a curvy line out, and then it will come back towards the center and line up towards that stem here. And then we'll continue from that ending point, curve it all the way out until it meets the stem in the middle. And that is what one of our fall leaves will look like. If you'd like to make the stem longer, you can, or you can just keep it like this. So you'll notice that the leaf is kind of just floating here. We're going to pretend like the leaves are falling from a branch above this owl. So they're kind of going to be falling and dropping all around the owl. So we'll continue on with a few more here wherever you have space. The leaves can be different shapes if you want. And you're just continuing on with that stem first, and then curvy line out. Continue at that ending point, and then curve it back towards the center of the stem. And you'll keep going. I think I'll add just one more here, starting with my stem, curvy line, and then I'll stop at the top wherever I want the leaf to stop. And then starting from that ending point here, curve it back down towards the stem. So I'll add a few more here, and then you can also do the same thing if you'd like to add more than 3. On this side you can, and then if you'd like to add more around the owl, that's great. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll check back in when you are finished with your leaves. All right, so now that we're finished with our leaves in the background all around the owl, we're just going to add just one last detail to our owl's body. So owls have these feathers on their body that keep them warm. So we are going to add in some shapes that are kind of curvy lines that look like this. And we're going to add 3 rows of feathers on its belly. So go ahead and grab your pencil. Again, I'm using a Sharpie just so that the lines show up a little bit darker in the video. And you'll start on the left-hand side of your owl, sort of in the middle of this part of its body here. So in this empty space that you have, you'll start around the middle. You're going to add sort of a wide letter U shape. And the rest of our feathers are just going to be more and more wide letter U shapes. So another wide letter U, another wide letter U, and then keep going until you'd like to stop. I'll stop right about there so that I have some empty space here on the left and the right still. And we'll do the same thing underneath. Same U shapes here. I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter. So now I only have 4 letter U shapes this time. And then right underneath you'll do the same thing. Make this one a little bit shorter as well. Same letter U shapes here. And now we have 3 rows of feathers on our owl's body. Now that we finished our drawing, it is time to color. So you have a couple of different choices for coloring in your drawing. So you can go ahead and grab your crayons for the owl's body and the background. So you'll use maybe some realistic colors like brown and beige, maybe orange for the owl, maybe even black for its eyes as well. And then for the background, we'll talk about the background. I have a different idea if you'd like to do something creative with the background. So for now, go ahead and just color the owl and the leaves and the branch. And then we'll save this huge space, the background here, we'll save that for the end. So go ahead and just color in your owl, your branch, and your leaves. And then we'll check back in a moment. An option, if you would like to use something other than crayons for the background, you can grab your watercolor paint and use it for the background of our drawing. So the way that watercolor works is that if you use watercolor on top of crayon, it does not really change the way that the crayon looks. So I'll show you as an example. Let me grab my watercolor brush, and then remember that we always need water somewhere in a cup or in a bowl, somewhere nearby, so that you can dip in your brush. You can tap it off or dab it on the side, and then choose whatever color you want for your background. So I will choose blue. And we're going to go ahead and color over the crayon and see what happens. Notice that the watercolor doesn't really change the way that the crayon looks. It might look a little bit wet, but the color is still there. So you can choose to go right on top of the crayon, or if you really want to just be careful, you can also go around the crayon like this. So let's go ahead and either paint our background, or if you want to use crayons, or colored pencils, that's fine too. Alright, so once you have let your artwork dry, if you chose to use paint in the background, it might take just a few minutes. Once you've seen that it's or felt that it's dry, remember that our last step is for us to add our signature or to sign our name. Remember, artists always sign their name somewhere on their artwork so that people can know who created the artwork. So I will sign my name, Miss Rios, and you'll sign your name somewhere on your artwork. All right, artists, I hope you had lots of fun creating our autumn owl. Remember to take a picture of it and turn it in on Seesaw so that Miss Rodriguez and I can see what you created. All right, till next time, first graders. See you later.